This is a reading of the May 1899 article Home Thrusts by James Connolly. It was published in the Workers' Republic during the month of May 1899. It was reprinted in Red Banner number 15, transcription by Andrus O'Cosig, and it was marked up by End O'Callahan for the Marxist Internet Archive. Like other texts in the Home Thrusts series, he comments on the Home Ruler faction of Irish politics at the time and other current events of the 1890s. These are not so much, theoretical texts that are more abstract. So that's enough of my introduction. On with the text. Here we go again. And there's a footnote here. After the 22nd of October 1898 issue, the Workers' Republic ceased publication due to the ISRP's lack of resources. So that was October 1898. This is May 1899, so several months later. Back to the main text. And although the phrase, beloved of the children watching with gaping mouths the antics of a circus clown, may seem a trifle too suggestive for some of our sensitive readers, we venture to think it has, in this instance, an appositeness most peculiarly its own. Comment here, apposite is a synonym for appropriate. This is a word I did not ever encounter until reading this text. Back to the main text. Here we go again. The cause of amusement to those whose conscience our pleasant satires leave untouched, and the cause of mental writhing to the herd of mummers on the stage of life who feel our shafts ripping open their disguises or exposing their tricks to the ridicule of the world. As it is the function of the jester to laugh others out of their follies by an assumption of folly on his own part, so it is the function of Spalpeen to reveal the shortcomings of the political hucksters by assuming the role of a huckster himself. A huckster? Yes. On this front page, Spalpeen carries on the trade of buying and selling, and the veriest tyro in that art knows that the first requisite for driving a good bargain is to depreciate the value of your rival's goods while extolling the merits of your own. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, countrymen and women, Romans and lovers, lend me thine ears. My own are not long enough. Whereas, room for the Daily Nation. This broad-minded organ has declared against the Filipinos. In a footnote here, there was widespread popular resistance in the Philippines to the United States, who had taken the islands from Spain the previous year. Back to the main text. Hence, we may now consider their cause as indeed hopeless. But worse than all, that newspaper now declares the insurgents to be, quote, almost as degraded as the wretches who formed a provisional government for Paris during the Commune of 1871, end quote. Now just think of that. Those degraded wretches of the Commune held Paris for 3 months without the aid of policemen or detectives, and yet, according to the testimony of many foreigners who then resided in that city, Paris was never so free from crime. Life and property were never so safe. They held the Bank of France in their power all that time, and yet left its treasures untouched. No one, not even their greatest enemy, has ever instanced a single case in which a member of the provisional government of the Paris Commune enriched himself as a result of his political position. Of what Irish political leaders of the present day can the same be said? Certainly not the political chiefs of the Daily Nation. The Commune, if it had been successful, would have inaugurated the reign of real freedom the world over. It would have meant the emancipation of the working class. Therefore, as it failed, it serves as a mark for all the literary prostitutes who sell themselves into the service of capitalist journalism. Long live the Commune! If the Filipinos are akin to the members of the Commune, may their shadows never grow less. Yes, gentlemen, what we want is a Catholic university. A footnote here, nationalist politicians were demanding a Catholic university as an equivalent of Trinity College, which is a Protestant university in Dublin. Back to the main text. If we only had a Catholic university, the poor ragged children who sit around the Catholic boys' home in Abbey Street or beg to find the copper necessary to procure their admission to its shelter would have all their woes removed. And the crowd of forlorn men and women who every night press for admission to the night refuge in Bow Street, the hungry outcasts who wait around the gates of the mendicity. Footnote here, the mendicity institution provided the homeless with beds for the night. Back to the main text. The evicted tenants patiently waiting for restoration to their homes, the broken-hearted laborers toiling their lives away for a starvation wage, the unemployed wearily tramping from insolent foremen to overbearing employers, the slum dwellers poisoned by the pestiferous air of our city tenements, the peasant mentally and physically starved on his barren mountain patch, all would be initiated into the delights of a happy existence if only we had a Catholic university. Some of us would be satisfied with less. Most of those I mentioned would, I think, but then they are only base plebeians, common working-class people who would never see the inside of a university anyhow. When we speak of a university for the Catholics, we don't mean all the Catholics, but only a small portion of the whole body, viz., those who can afford to send their children to such places, shopkeepers, lawyers, gombeen men, rack-renting landlords, patriot publicans, slum proprietors, and other such bright jewels in the crown of the church militant. Free education up to the highest university grades, and as a supplement to make it workable, free maintenance for all children. Both planks in the Socialist Republican program might make the university question a popular one. But otherwise, the agitation is simply bogus, a clerical cum capitalist dodge to divert our attention whilst a new bargain is being struck at our expense. At least, so thinks Spalpeen. And that's the end of the text. Pretty clear example, in my view, of the Daily Nation being exposed for slandering the Paris Commune and also being completely pro-imperialist, opposing the Filipino people, trying to have their own independence, right? Like even the national war, like even being opposed to probably what was a national bourgeois type of independence movement, because the Filipino movement at that time I don't think was socialist. Exposing them for this sort of slander and then making an absolute mockery of this promotion that a Catholic university is going to do anything seriously good for them. And this sort of redirection that the Daily Nation or whoever proposes Catholic university made. I mean, this is totally, we see stuff like this today. We do. So this is it's a good example of a criticism. And anyway, I have nothing else to say. That's all for my commentary at the end. So have a good one, and don't forget ruthless criticism of all things.